Hello and welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but... How are you?
I am good. I had a massage,
Nice.
which is a good way. Actually, all the ways I wasted time this week were, well, mostly were positive. So I had a massage, which is always nice. And I started doing Duolingo again. So.
Oh, good for you. What language are we working on?
French.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I decided to go back in with a very, very low, just do like 2 lessons a day and then close the app and let it go. So
Yeah.
it's good.
That's me and plan for cleaning my house is to pick like a room a day and spend 10 minutes.
That's great.
And if I do more than 10 minutes, great. So like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I can build up and then hopefully maintain.
The good news is this is our last recording for a little while, so I won't remember to follow up with you later to ask how it's going.
I have a feeling that you will remember to follow up later and ask how it's going. Maybe not specifically, but at least in general.
I generally like to know how your life is going. And how did you waste time this week, Ryan Davis?
Well, school started again, so I definitely wasted a lot of time, like, exhausted staring into space on the first couple of days of school.
Sure.
In between breaks.
What do you remember about E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial?
I don't really remember seeing it at the drive-in, but I remember being told that we saw it at the drive-in theater. I remembered stuffed animals, drag E.T., red hoodie, bikes, and glowing fingers, what I wrote down.
Cool. I wrote scary scientist, doll mess, screaming, Drew Barrymore, bikes, phone home, Reese's Pieces, and moon. I forgot about drag. That really made me laugh a lot. And yes, I do. I think I remember seeing it at the drive-in, but it's hard at this point to tell the difference, honestly.
Yes, between like genuine memory and conjured memory.
Yes, I don't believe I have seen. So a lot of the stuff that we watched a lot in our childhood. But then most of it I would have seen again, either as a teenager or an adult for whatever reason. I don't think I've seen this movie since childhood.
No, I don't think that I had either.
I mean, a lot of it is just like cultural memes, so it sticks on my head that way, but
yeah,
I don't really remember it.
Do you want to hear what Elliot remembers about E.T.? Because he watched it for the first time like 6 months ago.
Yes, please.
Or do you want to wait until you do your own little podcast with Elliot?
No, please.
We're going to do that tomorrow. But this is what he told me. So I picked him up from school yesterday, and I told him we were going to go home and watch, or asked him if he would watch E.T. with me. And
yes.
He was like, I've seen E.T. So he goes, E.T. and Elliot. And then he goes, E.T. phone home, and sticks his finger up. Because E.T. wanted to phone home because he was lost and wanted to go home.
No.
He made bikes fly because he was magic.
True.
And then there was some stuff about a spaceship.
That's how I would describe this movie. And then there was some stuff about a spaceship.
Speaking of describing this movie, why don't you go ahead and give us our 2-sentence summary, since we always forget to do that?
That's a great idea. Since it's the last episode of our first season, should we do it the right way?
Well, I'm not saying necessarily.
I didn't write one down, but let's see how well I can do improv. A young boy discovers an alien, befriends him, and helps him return home.
Sounds good.
That's pretty much
Hijinks Ensue. I think Hijinks Ensue should be the end of every summary that we do.
Well, I know. So, on my lovely I Saw What You Did podcast, a lot of times Danielle Henderson will say, and then all hell breaks loose. That's sort of her way to get out of a synopsis, which is,
Yeah.
would not say
Ours
all
could
hell
be
breaks loose for this one.
Yeah, I think ours should be Hijinks Ensue. And then if we watch, like, I don't know, some like really depressing movie, it'll be funny.
Sure. It sounds funny. Let's do that.
Trying to think of what like really dramatic, depressing movie from the 80s we would be doing a
Schindler's
podcast
List.
on.
Well, that was the 90s, but yeah.
It's in the 90s. Yeah, well, and the one that wouldn't like be super offensive. So like I was kind of thinking Philadelphia, so I didn't want to be like Philadelphia, blah blah blah, and hijinks ensued. Like
It kind of did. It was like adult bullshit hijinks, but yeah.
adult bullshit hijinks is a great descriptor of this movie.
Okay. Sounds great.
I think it's too. Okay, go ahead.
Let's go through it, shall we?
Let's do it.
I started off by saying, who me? I'm just stealing some ferns.
I started off going 13 plus, huh? Maybe my kid and I shouldn't be watching this together.
When it originally came out, it was PG.
Is it PG-13 and it's PG-13 now?
Yeah, now
because of the smoking and the beer.
No, I think because they realized that was a lot more cursing than really should probably be in a PG, and it is a scary fucking movie. Like, I was like, how was Poltergeist one of my favorites when I was a kid? And then I'm watching this and I'm like, I feel like this is scarier than Poltergeist. I don't know. I just, especially because it's not supposed to be a horror movie, but there's a lot of suspense and
yeah,
there's a lot of emotion. So
I mean, I caveat. So I was watching this with Elliot, who got bored about 20 minutes in. And wanted me to like make things with Legos. So I was taking notes and making things with Legos and talking to Elliot about the movie. Infer from that what you will. But yeah, he was definitely talking about like the music being scary.
Well, there's nothing scarier than a group of adult men. So that was definitely
and I was gonna say I really like, and I didn't realize they did this, right? I didn't remember it from childhood, but I really like the way that most of the adults, you never see their faces until the end. Like the mom is like the only adult whose face you ever see. It's like these adults are these like scary unknown forces.
And Spielberg wanted to film it from the perspective of a child, so that's why a lot of that happens too.
Oh, okay.
I did think that if they had landed in LA, which the shot of the city definitely reminded me of the Mulholland Drive overlook. There were way better places to get vegetation. Like, if you're going to come steal our ferns, there's way better places. Evidently, though, it was supposed to be set like near Lake Tahoe, but it was.
I was going to say with the redwoods and stuff. So I thought it was supposed to be like Northern California.
Yeah, Lake Tahoe's in Northern California.
Okay. Yeah. Elliot thought that the LA skyline was Lexington.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So he said, E.T.'s family left him. Poor E.T. E.T.'s lost and scared, but there's a place he can go. That's Lexington.
If I were E.T., I would much rather be lost in Lexington than Los Angeles. I can tell you that for sure.
Yes, that is very true. Yeah, so I guess that they're like harvesters. It seems like they're like plant collectors, and that's what they do, the aliens, E.T. and his family.
I guess. Evidently, E.T., I did a little bit of research afterwards. Spielberg said that E.T. was supposed to be more like a plant than like an animal life form, which I thought was interesting.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not seeing that, but yeah.
I was real about the teenage boy energy that went on right away. Like, that was no, thank you.
Yeah, I think I was like, why are you nerds smoking? Like, what is going on?
It is.
why are these children nerds smoking?
Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of amazing to me that Stranger Things managed to make D&D seem cool. Because
yeah,
it's real nerdy. And definitely watching this, I was like, I feel like the guys that made Stranger Things probably watch this movie every day of their childhood.
I was just gonna say there is a lot of ET energy, and I haven't even seen Stranger Things, so but just like
You are
the being
missing
part of
out.
our
It is
culture.
quite a phenomenon. I will say that.
It's intense. I don't do
Did you
intense.
notice that he does say nice one, Elliot, as your son did yesterday, but not in a positive, congratulatory way? Says it in a negative.
Oh, I said always like I assume he always gets it from somewhere, but
Yeah.
yes, when he tricked me into giving him water milk. Because so what happened? So I gave it to him, and he's like, that's Elliot milk. He's like, that's what I call Elliot milk. And I was like, you're so crazy. And he's like, nice one, Elliot.
When he was a baby and we tried to give him Elliot milk, he would get real mad. So
Well, yep, I know.
I'm glad he decided he liked it now. I was very curious. Do they live next to a cornfield?
Yeah, I don't know why and like the driveway. Like the driveway was like a character in the damn movie.
Yeah, I would have just parked on the fucking street. Like, fuck that driveway. The amount of time that they
Like even the pizza delivery person's like, I'm not coming up that driveway.
Yeah, no,
you got to
look
come
at
down
that.
here.
No thanks. I did like that he left a candy trail to try to get ET back. I thought that was really cute.
Just the 70s vibe of everything. Like I know it was the 80s, but it was the early 80s, so
Yeah.
it's still very 70s, like the lamp and like that Eden dining table that was like a triangle shit happening, and then all the like labeling and product placement. I really hope I don't get a phone call next week from school because Elliot's calling someone penis breath.
That was a really good insult.
I was like, oh boy. I was like, oh, because at the end, when he's like, when E.T. comes back to life, for those of you who've never seen E.T., but spoiler, sorry. And it's like, shut up, shut up, shut up. Like, my Elliot was like, shut up. I was like, we don't say that. Well, he just said it. And I was like, it was the 80s. They didn't know better.
They said a lot of bad things in the 80s, Elliot.
I know, but for some reason, that was the one he picked up on. So I was glad for that. Because, it was the end. So he was tired. So he was like kind of getting back into it. But
sure.
So we started talking about how, like, in the past, sometimes we did things and now we know better. So we don't do that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you made it a lesson. Good job.
Hey,
I like how menacing the keys were, and I didn't think it was very fair for Michael to tell Elliot that he had to think about how other people feel, because very soon after that, he was worried that E.T. would be lobotomized. So clearly he did care about how other people felt. Like, he just missed his fucking dad. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
He can miss his dad. That's all right.
And as a child, like even as adults, you're not going to 100% put other people's feelings first. So
no.
As a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, however old Elliot is, like you're sure as shit not going to.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The way that E.T. moves cracks me up.
Oh my God, like a little old man turtle.
Just made me laugh so much.
It's like you think you think he would like freak me out. Maybe that's why I needed to watch it like with Elliot and have some distractions so that I wouldn't be freaked out. But like his long fingers, like fingering things, like I don't know, it just entertained me more than anything else. But he is quite a character. Somebody's brain was.
I think we need to get Elliot some rainbow blinds.
Oh my God, yes. The rainbow blinds are awesome.
And I think Gertie needs to not be a narc.
Yeah, I feel like Gertie could just not be in this movie, honestly.
Oh, she was cute.
Yeah, she's cute, whatever.
I was very impressed with the way that Elliot introduced things to E.T. it was very realistic of middle class white kids splaining.
Yeah.
Like the fourth thing he said was money.
Yeah.
What
This
the
is a
hell does
car.
he need to know about money? And
Well,
then,
if it was my Elliot teaching him, he'd be teaching him wrong, because today we had an argument about whether a dime was a penny.
oh yeah, that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then they go to get food, and the peanut butter is in the fridge.
Oh, who
Is that
does
a thing?
that?
People do that?
I don't think so.
I think
I
when
don't
it
know
has
why
that like
people would
oil
do
in
it.
it, sometimes people do that, but
Like the natural peanut butter.
mm-hmm. That
I
looked
don't
like
think
it
they
was
were
like
eating
diet
any
peanut butter or
natural
something.
food. Yeah, like that single
Diet
mom
peanut
80s.
pan.
There was a lot of processed food there. So did like Elliot did ET put Elliot to sleep there that first night? Because I want that magic trick in my life where he's
Yeah, I
like
think that was the first. So they started like forming that emotional bond.
bond. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that was supposed to be the start of it, which I didn't realize there was this connection between the two of them when I was a kid. And I guess we
No.
were watching
Yeah.
a lot. So then watching it this time, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like, that's
Yeah.
cool. As soon as the public bus situation was happening with that teenage energy again, I was having some trauma. Like, oh God. So, for those of you who may be listening outside of the United States, if you haven't watched movies from the 80s that are American movies, what major cities in this country and some small ones have bus systems, but even those that do, they still have separate buses that take the children to school. So it's like a mobile jail because you have no adults except the person who's driving, and they can't discipline because they're driving.
Well,
So
now they don't. Now they have other people, but when we were kids, they did not.
yeah, it was
So now they
horrible. And
have like
I spent
another adult.
the majority of my intellectual creativity from in junior high and high school trying to figure out how not to have to ride the bus. So which through most of high school ended up with me being at school, I don't know, 90 minutes before school started and just sitting
Yeah.
around reading. But you know what? I wasn't on a public school bus, so that was fine.
Yeah, I rode the bus once and I was like, I will never do this again.
No.
And so,
It's
yeah, it was like go to school early, stay at school for like another hour and a half unless you could find a way home.
yeah.
So, yeah, no, school buses are the worst. Real quick before I forget, the older
Yeah.
brother, is
Yeah.
he related to Jesse Eisenberg or does he just look exactly like him?
He looks similar, but he was the brother in The Electric Grandmother.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Which one? The younger one?
He was the older one, I think. Because these
Was
came out
he?
around the same time.
Huh. Okay.
Just look at the cover. You'll be like, oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's that guy. I was cracking up because E.T. like came waddling down after everybody left to go to work and school.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that very first episode of The Dollop that you had me listen to, Otto in the Attic. It's like, you're going to come home and be like, what happened to all this shit? E.T., just stay in your closet.
Stay in your attic, Otto. Your six attic. You're good. Oh my God, that's such a good one.
I also cannot stand the way that that science teacher was instructing. It made me
Yes.
really angry. And also, the frogs were going to be dissected alive.
Yes, it was so traumatizing. I was like, I cannot believe they did this shit.
What the fuck? I dissected a frog, 9th grade.
Yeah, but it was
That
like
shit
dead.
was dead.
Yeah, it was dead.
Yes,
which was traumatizing enough, but at least you
Yes.
could have like some disassociation. But
Right.
it's like you're going to put it to sleep, you're going to watch it go to sleep, and you're going to cut that motherfucker up while it's still heart is beating.
And why? It's not like they're going to sew it back up and release it into the wild. What is the point of like so messed up?
Yeah, that was like, but that whole scene with him like releasing the frogs and like back and forth between him and E.T. and then the quiet man with the wind and the girl, and he like knocks that kid down so he could stand on top of him to kiss the girl while he didn't have consent, so that's not okay. Still, that was amazing. It was an amazing.
John Wayne didn't really have consent when he kissed Maureen O'Hara in The Quiet Man, but it did make me laugh because I don't remember if, a few weeks back when we talked about Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I was like, did these guys learn romance only from movies? Evidently, yes.
Yes,
they did. Yeah. And it's like a vicious cycle where we just keep recycling the romance of old movies into new movies, and it perpetuates these horrible things that are not based in reality at all.
That's not true. Like the new teenage stuff coming out now is very like
yes,
consent.
Yes. Everybody's woke now. It's fine. I did like at one point again with the E.T. and the moving. He was like walking around. He was like taking the kids, like, get these fucking kids out of here. Shit's in the way. And I did make a note that E.T. is much smarter than Madison. He picked up things very quickly. Like, she learned the language, but he figured out like how to put all the electronic shit together and like all kinds of stuff. It was very impressive.
Madison? What?
Yeah, from Splash. The mermaid from Splash.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's the end of the first season. I'm trying to do some
drawback wrap up. So
yeah.
Sorry. Told me I was gonna need to remember things from previous episodes.
Oh, just you wait.
Oh, by the way, Elliot has decided that astronauts are now called space nauts.
Space nauts, okay. They were aeronauts in Russia, I think.
He said, I'm going to call astronauts.
Cosmonauts, that was it. I think.
Cosmonauts, yeah. He said, I'm going to call astronauts space nauts.
Okay, that's cool. He's 4. He can pretty much do what he
said, no space naut, don't get him.
Oh, that's sweet. I liked when the mom was like, I'm not paying for frogs. Like, it was just this kind of throwaway line where, like, Elliot's trying to go find E.T. It was kind of nice because there was a lot of things where it's like they could have been just, like, wasting time in a scene having those kinds of conversations together. But it very much was the kid thing of like, I don't really care what you're saying, Mom. Like, I gotta go find my buddy and see what's going on. Like, you know, so then to me, it's funny. Like, I'm not paying for frogs. I really did think that Drew Barrymore was quite adorable. And it was hilarious that E.T. was in drag. That made me laugh a lot.
Yes.
The NSA bullshit was like, nope.
Oh my God.
Don't like that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, NSA surveillance, just driving around listening to people's conversations. Like, man, we thought the Patriot Act was bad.
Yeah, no. I thought the adult men in this movie are all faceless monsters, and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I think that that is formative for me, and I don't mind it. I think it's right that I'm afraid of large groups of white adult men. They do terrify me when they congregate. I do remember wanting to dress up as a cowgirl, and so I thought maybe as a bonus for people this week, I might throw up. I might puke. No,
you might throw up. Hey.
I might post a photo of me as a kid dressed up as a cowgirl and maybe put it up next to Drew Barrymore because we were both
with your shooters,
blonde little white girls. Yep, with my shooters. And then I was very worried about E.T. when he was down on like the riverbank looking like bacon. It's like, oh no. And yeah, that's the point at which I was like, oh, I think I know why I wasn't scared of Poltergeist. Like, this movie is terrifying. I know the tubing scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like,
yes,
all the plastic and all of that.
But then I remember too, like, you remember when I like was hospitalized with bronchitis and I had to be in that plastic tent. Like,
so terrifying.
You can't see through it because it was like not transparent, you know.
Right.
This is a conversation Elliot and I had today about translucent and transparent and opaque. But anyways, I'm a good mom.
That's not what this podcast is about. Continue.
What my life is about.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, it's like it's terrifying. It's awful.
I did like it, and it was kind of almost another throwaway line, but I liked it when they were interviewing Michael and they were like, so Elliot can hear E.T.'s thoughts. And he said,
Mm,
no, Elliot feels
no,
E.T.'s feelings. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
so like, and then let me tell you, I cried when Elliot asked E.T. to stay, and then I just kept crying. I was crying.
Oh,
I was crying
I
a lot.
know. My Elliot was sitting up in my lap and he kept going, E.T.'s sad.
Mhm.
He's like, oh, poor E.T. He's sad. It's
Mhm.
like, oh,
It's so sweet.
my sweet child.
I did think when Michael went and crawled up in that closet, that would be a great
Yeah.
podcasting closet, though. There's lots of stuff in there, but it's
So much
also
stuff.
big. Like,
It's
there's a
big and
lot of stuff in this
comfy.
closet, but it's not big. It's just like
Little E.T.'s closet. Yeah.
I was really entertained by Key's guy because he pretty much was like, once they finally showed his face, I was like, oh, he's like the poor man's Harrison Ford. Look at him. And I
Is he
did
the
like,
one that like went into the hazmat area with his wrists exposed?
he was
Like, because it was like everyone's like head to toe, and they're in the like they have the decontamination air blowing, and then he's just going in there like fucking hairy ass wrists out. Like, dude, what do you not understand like about what's happening right
there was
now?
no
Like,
reason for any of that shit to be happening. It was all
well, I
staged.
know, but if you're gonna put it on, don't be like, ah, but I'm just gonna leave. You know, it's like people wearing masks below their noses. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, I know. Yes,
Take it off.
he was definitely a mask below his nose kind of guy. But he did let
Yeah.
Elliot, go and pay last respects to ET, so he wasn't horrible.
Yes, he ended up not being a terrible
Yes,
person. And I
and
thought, like, I'm not smart.
He was the
Go
one
ahead.
who closed ET's eyes, right? That was him, I think.
Yes, I
He was
think.
wearing like Mickey Mouse, like white gloves. Like he wasn't wearing scientific gloves of any kind at all.
Well, maybe that's why his like wrists were exposed because he didn't have the
Yes,
proper gloveage
it
to
was
like go up.
ridiculous.
I do wonder too if there's like something in there that like I can't quite articulate about like like because they do make mention of like their father and like their father not being there, and then there's like this kind of other man or these other men around who are like fucking shit up. It's a lot of men energy in this movie,
There's a lot of
and then
male energy in this movie that I'm not a big fan of. I don't think
well,
that
yeah,
was.
because it reminded me of like Goonies too, like at the end when they're all doing the bikes and running away from them. Reminded me so much of like some Goonies type shit. And I was like, man, why weren't there any fucking girl gang movies? Like, why was it all?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's, but part of it. So, from the perspective of these filmmakers, they would have been at a time where they probably didn't do mixed gender like childhood play. And I don't know how common
Yeah.
that is now. Like if they, if kids were still free range, who knows what they'd be doing. But it's more that idea of as kids, you can't trust adults, right?
Yeah.
That adults are scary and adults want to destroy magic and adults, can't take things at face value. They have to tear it all apart. And I mean, that kind of stuff. Like it's not,
Yeah.
no. I mean, there's definitely a whole thing where Spielberg, like, the single mom and missing dad and all that shit. Like that's a very, very Spielberg thing. I didn't like that so much of the time Elliot wasn't fully clothed. I know that it was to make him seem more vulnerable, but it's just like, I mean, he's
Yeah.
got a blanket on, just give him a shirt. He can't have a shirt. Why is he gonna wear one?
Yeah. Like, why is he wearing long johns so often? I
Yeah, that
mean,
was
it's
another question too, but
like,
it's okay. More
yeah.
importantly, why was the mom wearing a purse over her shoulder in her own house? Like, was she worried those men were gonna steal it? Was she go into the mall?
Why was she wearing a fucking satin robe around all her boys' young, horny ass friends? Like,
Yeah, that was a whole. I didn't like that at all.
yeah,
I did think that playground was rad, the playground that they all met up at later, and I thought it was really cute that that's what they did was go meet at a playground.
the playground.
Yeah. And I wrote really good kid actors, and then that was kind of the end of my notes. But I discovered that part of the main reason that they were really good kid actors was because they shot the kid scenes almost entirely chronologically, so that the kids were a little bit scared of E.T. in real life and then came to care for E.T. and then E.T. was taken away. So it was a lot easier for them to follow those emotional arcs and made them seem much more realistic. Which reminds me of another of my favorite films that is not necessarily everybody's cup of tea, but I think part of the reason that Call Me by Your Name is so incredibly emotionally staggering to me is because it was also shot chronologically. So their feelings actually developed in real time. So I would argue out there, if you want to make something and you want it to have an extreme emotional impact, film it chronologically. You're probably going to get there if you've got halfway decent actors and a not terrible script.
I could definitely remember like a moment where I realized they didn't most film chronologically. Like, oh,
yeah,
it wasn't a pivotal moment in my life, but I
really remember. I mean, what I remember is when I was a kid and I realized that if you got shot in a movie or TV, you weren't actually dead. Like that was pretty pivotal. Oh, this is all fake? Oh, okay.
I don't know if I remember that realization coming to me, but
I probably
you think this movie's scarier than Poltergeist?
I think that this movie is scary for what it is, and therefore Poltergeist didn't seem as scary.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's scarier than Poltergeist. That is not an accurate assessment of what I'm saying. I am saying
I'm trying to wrap my head around. I mean, I get what you're saying.
It's a little bit weird that I watched this movie, that we watched this when we were as young as we were, because it is quite a frightening film. Yeah, I think. So,
well, how old do you think we were? Like, do you think we were older than Elliot?
Well, the youngest I could have seen it would have been 4 because it came out in 82.
Yeah, so we were older than Elliot. So.
Yes, but I don't know by how much, because it does have the longest ever theatrical run. It ran for over a year. So they kept it in theaters for a long time, and they kept bringing it back. And they wouldn't release it on video. And eventually they had to, because there were so many pirate copies out there. And evidently, when they finally released
money at this point,
when they finally released it on VHS, they released it on a green tape to try to foil the pirators, which I think is funny too. Like, you guys didn't have enough money. You really had to like try to whatever. Yeah. It was test screened at Cannes, which I think is interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very well received. People liked it a lot. It won a whole bunch of Emmys, or not Emmys, the other one, the Oscars. It won a bunch of Oscars. And it's deserving. Yeah. I'm not going to pick it apart at all. I think it is
I think it's
piece of cinema.
I think it's a great, fun little piece. I'm glad Elliot likes it. I'm glad he's not terrified of it.
Yeah. That's all.
But it was funny because every time, like towards the end of the movie, where they like everyone's like shouting his name. Like every time my son was like looking at the TV. Every time.
In fairness, that happens to me too. The other day I was partially listening to a webinar while I was getting other real work done. And one of the panelists on the webinar was called Heather. And so every time they would say Heather, I would look up, because I'm so used to being in Zoom meetings where I'm half paying attention and getting real work done that I was like, what?
I don't think that's what Elliot's reasoning was. I don't think that he's used to being in Zoom meetings.
No, I'm just trying to share comments.
Yeah, as someone who's normally, when someone says a name that is similar to mine, they're usually not talking to me. So, but
yes, yeah.
I do have a student this year named Rian, and one named Elliot, who I've had previously, but I have her again.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I was telling Elliot I was like, I have a student named Elliot. And I was like, she's a girl. And he was just kind of like, why is she a girl? It's like,
that's what she chooses to be right now. So I thought we'd do a fun little thing. Remember, I asked you to be sharp.
Yeah, am I sharp?
Since this is the last episode of season 1 before we take a little break. Do you have anything else about ET before I torture you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the glowing. I like that that's how they communicate with each other. Yeah. Their hearts glow, and that's how they communicate. It's really nice. So.
Yeah, that was nice. because they were plants. Apparently.
I'm not getting the plant thing. Like, I mean, I guess maybe because, like, there's all those things where it's like if you talk to a plant and you're nice to a plant, then it'll grow more. And he like made the other plants grow, and he liked
But I don't think
plants.
that they knew that when they filmed and wrote this movie. I think it's
Not
like
getting plants.
here's what I can tell you. I think Steven Spielberg makes movies that people like and he wins a lot of awards. But so far, the two movies that we've watched that he's been involved in, there are things that he has said about these movies that I'm like, were you paying attention? Do you remember this? Are you drunk right now? Like, what are you talking about? So E.T. being a plant life form would fall into that because most plants don't have great big eyeballs. It's just a thing. I thought we could play a fun game called Title Association.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the name of everything we watched in the order that we watched it.
Okay.
And I want you to just say the first thing that comes to your head.
Oh, my Lord.
So dig deep for that guttural, like, deep emotion. Are you ready?
Oh, yes. Go.
Dukes of Hazzard.
No. Just no.
Three's Company. Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, sigh.
Mannequin.
Sigh.
You can't say sigh for all of them. Small Wonder.
I mean, I just keep thinking of the same song. Small Wonder.
The Electric Grandmother.
Finger Milk.
Finger Milk, that's right, baby. Black Adder.
Baldrick.
Are You Being Served?
Pussy.
Back to the Beach.
Oh, Frankie and Annette.
The Parent Trap.
Blonde.
Arthur.
Just laughing. The laugh.
Splash.
Oh, God. The fountain.
Desk Set.
Ah.
That.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Peggy Sue Got Married.
Oh my God. Fucking this game.
Back to the Future.
The Power of Love, baby. Skateboards. My face hurts.
Footloose.
Oh no. Oh, charming. Charming.
Beverly Hills Cop.
More laughs. We've had a lot of good laughs, like both between us and also in movies.
That's true.
Yeah, Axel Foley's a great character.
Raising Arizona.
God damn, we've watched a lot of movies.
What?
That's my reaction to Raising Arizona.
What are you doing?
I'm yodeling.
Oh, you're yodeling. Okay. Yeah, it's not coming across, but that's okay. Please don't try harder. We're fine. Facts of Life.
Take the good, take the bad.
Brothers.
Oh, did I ever tell you I tried watching more of that show and I didn't get far?
Yeah. You said that on the podcast.
Oh, well.
Is that what you remember? Is that your first reaction?
It's my first reaction. I wanted it to be better.
Ghostbusters 1984.
The vehicle, because I saw a toy version of it today at Cracker Barrel.
Ghostbusters 2016.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Oh, okay. Can't Buy Me Love.
Lawnmower.
Dirty Dancing.
Jen. Truly not as outrageous as I remember her being.
Working Girl.
Oh, yeah. That was good. It was good. Yeah. Ferry. Staten Island Ferry.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ugh, Snakes. Boring.
Nope.
Boring.
I know a lot of snakes. Grease.
Grease lightning.
Grease 2.
Oh, reproduction, baby. And
Pee-wee's Big
Cool
Adventure.
Rider.
And Cool Rider. Pee-wee's Big
And
Adventure.
more snakes. And another annoying laugh. So much annoying laughs.
Okay, calm down. And last but never least, E.T.
Phone home.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to do the same thing to myself. Are you ready?
Oh, you don't want me to do the list?
Do you have the list?
Oh, I've got it right here.
Do you? What's the first one?
Dukes of Hazzard.
Cute blonde.
Three's Company.
Jack.
The Electric Grandmother.
Nope.
No.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Trauma.
The Electric Grandmother.
Nope. Mannequin. And my reaction to Mannequin is Hollywood. Small Wonder. No, thank you.
The Electric Grandmother.
Good job. Finger Milk. Black Adder. Hilarious.
Are you being served?
Martha. Back to the Beach. Better than I remembered.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Parent Trap. Maureen O'Hara.
Mm.
The next one is an annoying laugh one. Can you guess?
Arthur.
Yeah, good job. Drunk.
Flash.
Mad at Tom Hanks.
Oh, I got it. Good job, me.
It was
I
a
don't
Mother's
fucking
Day
know.
episode.
Oh, Death Set.
Brilliant.
I am. Thank you.
It's our first Nick Cage.
Oh, Peggy Sue got married.
Emotions.
Emotions?
Emotions.
Oh, he had a lot of them.
They
Oh, I
all
got
have a lot
another
of
one.
Emotions.
Can I do another one for Peggy Sue got married?
Yes, you can.
Wang.
That should have been the first one. All right, next up,
I don't know.
Back to the Future.
Oh,
What happened to the Brown Mansion? Footloose. I could have written a better screenplay. Beverly Hills Cop. Hilarious. Raising Arizona. Holly Hunter. Facts of Life. No, thank you. Brothers. Walking with a Lisp, and I don't care if it makes you mad.
this is a good line.
Ghostbusters 1984. Brent is Dead. Ghostbusters 2016. I could have written a better screenplay. Can't Buy Me Love. Canceled.
Yes.
Dirty Dancing. Why? Just stop. Jim. Want to Get Drunk and Watch Again. Working Girl. Harrison Ford is Magic.
Mm.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Harrison Ford is a daddy.
The magic is gone.
Lasers. Grease. The Bromance. Grease 2. The Ladder.
Mm.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The Alamo. And E.T. made me cry.
Aw.
No. Sarah, I didn't know if you wanted to share any last thoughts or feelings about how we did on the first season or what it's meant to you. And
I am very proud of us for doing the thing and seeing it through the end.
that's right.
We didn't move to Chicago and start a band and open a bar.
Thank God.
I don't know. We could be having a great life. You never know. But I am proud that we said it and we were like, let's do it, and we did it and we stuck through it. My therapist, if BetterHelp wants to throw us some money to advertise for them, my BetterHelp therapist the other night, I was telling her that this was going to be our last one, and so that would kind of, make time a little less stressful for a while as I, get used to my schedule again and figure all the things. And she was like, well, what are she's asking me, I know you're saying it can be a little bit stressful, right? But like, what have you been getting from that you might not get while y'all aren't doing it? And I was like, it's like 2 hours of my weekend, like 3 hours of my, no. But, and I was like, like laughing, like it's an hour a week where it's just silly, Well, and
Yeah.
I told her too, like that we, and talking through, like it's also an hour with you, even though I talk with her for an hour a week, I also feel like that this has been kind of a way for me, us, you to definitely like process things with dad and just life stuff, and maybe like say some things out loud that other people may need to hear someone say out loud. You know.
Yeah.
So, but definitely like the laughing, like the fact that my face was like hurting, I mean, that's my favorite thing in the world, is to like laugh so hard my face hurts, which I mostly only do with you. So yeah, so I'm gonna miss that, but yeah. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I'm excited that when we come back and I sit here in this closet, I will not have sweat running down my legs like I do right now. If it's still over 100 degrees every day when we start this back up in a few weeks, I'm just going to move. I don't know where, but I'm going to move. This is miserable.
You could come here. It was like 70 today.
I think this podcast is a good way for us to maintain a healthy relationship as sisters. And I think any really successful intimate relationship I have needs to be long distance. I was thinking about that earlier today. It's really just the best way for me. Otherwise, it's too much. Can't do it. I will definitely miss having a structured way to talk to you about something that isn't work or family, or, well, I mean, I know we talk about family, but the mundane bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I'm excited that we both have, with school starting, new places to put our energy. So it's not like that creative sort of fun is going to be lost. I think we can find other ways to do it. And I am eager to start a new season and get back to doing this with you, because by then I'm definitely going to be bored. So it'll be good to have something that's not work taking up my weekend.
I am not looking forward to watching Poltergeist. I'll say that. Thank you, but I will.
I don't know if you noticed, every other spooky Halloween movie I picked is not a spooky movie. That's the only one that's actually scary. So you don't want to turn this into a horror podcast?
No, I don't.
Clown
Thank
puppet
you.
Podcast.
Fuck you. If I ever am like, let's watch horror clowns puppets, you should like get on.
That's fair. Well, if I'm ever like, I want to watch Vanderpump Rules, please know that there's something deeply wrong with me. No shade. If that's your shit, I love you. That's great. I'm so glad it makes you happy. I read romance novels all the time. It's all I read anymore. I don't know how to read real literature anymore. So we all have our shit. I would like the listeners to know that I'm currently wiping lip sweat off on my bathrobe in my closet because I'm sweating so much. I'll miss you during our little break.
I will never speak to you again.
I know we'll speak to each other, but it's not the same.
No,
it's easy to. I mean, my best friends here, I haven't seen. I think we got together in January. Like, hey, it's a new year. Let's get together.
Yeah.
It's almost the holiday season. Hello, Elliot. Can you hear me now? You can't hear me talk?
Can you please make Katie talk me a little bit?
Hey, Elliot.
Here you go. Can Dee Dee hear us?
You can hear me? I can hear y'all.
We're
Elliot, I heard you went somewhere fun today. Where did you go?
at a surprise.
To the surprise place? What happened at the surprise place? It's a surprise that you're on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was what called?
Surprise village.
Oh, it was called Cattywampus Station.
We went to Cattywampus Station.
You went to Cattywampus Station? That sounds crazy. Did you have a good time? Yes. What was your favorite thing at Cattywampus Station?
What did you get?
We got to feed ducks and swans.
You got to pet ducks and swans. Did you see sunflowers? I heard they had big sunflowers.
Well, no.
No big sunflowers? Well, cattywampus on them. Elliot, what do you remember about E.T.? You and Mommy watched it the other night, right?
Did you watch E.T. with Mommy the other night? Yeah. What do you remember about E.T.? Tell Dee Dee about E.T. You remember. What does E.T. say?
E.T. phone home.
E.T. phone home. Was E.T., did he like Elliot?
Yes.
Yes. And did Elliot like E.T.?
Yes.
And what did Elliot help E.T. do?
Find his family.
That's right. He helped him find his family. Isn't that nice?
What can E.T. do?
Make the bikes.
He made the bikes fly?
Yes, that's my favorite part. What's yours, Mom?
I like it when when Gertie dresses E.T. up like a girl and he has the long wig on.
Good.
That was funny. Yeah, good. Oh, what else does E.T. say? What does E.T. tell the little girl, Gertie?
Be good.
Be good. That's right.
Yeah.
Ellie, do you want to know something really cool?
Sure.
There's a ride, I think it's in California or Florida, I don't remember which one, where you can ride bikes like that in ET. Would you want to go on that ride? Yeah, and ride bikes through the sky?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Maybe next year we'll go. I think next year you'll be old enough. What do you think?
Yeah.
Who were the people at the end of the movie in the suits? What were they? Who came to get E.T.? They were bad guys?
They were bad guys.
What, the ones that had the big helmets on? What did you call them? Were they astronauts?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you made up a different name for them. What did you call them, Elliot?
What did I say?
You said you were going to call them space knots.
Yes. I was going to go down space now.
How did E.T. feel at the end of the movie when he was sick?
He went to the space not doctor.
Yeah.
Space not.
Was E.T. happy or was E.T. sad?
Sick.
He was sick.
Because he was sick.
Yeah.
Hey, Elliot, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Superhero astronaut.
Superhero astronaut, and where are you gonna go?
Space.
Space. Where are you gonna live in space? You're gonna live on the moon? What's your favorite planet?
Mars.
Mars? Is that your
You
favorite?
gonna live on Mars? Yeah. Who's going to Mars with you?
Evie, Grammy, Daddy, Mommy, the new cats, and the rest. And that's all. But also,
And that's it?
and
Who else?
Evie. I already.
Yeah, you already said Evie. What about Nani and Dee Dee?
Oh, yes. They're coming. That's all the people. They're coming.
What about Sadie and Alfie?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's all the people.
that's a lot of people going on a spaceship. Oh, and Mindy.
Oh, good. Mindy would be good on a spaceship. Sadie would be very bad on a spaceship. She's too noisy.
Okay. So, what's stupid, Sadie?
I don't think Sadie's going to be very good on a spaceship.
Yes.
She would be terrible.
No. What?
Oh, she'd be good. Okay. All right. Well, you take her out there and see. We'll see what happens.
You want to tell Dee Dee bye-bye?
Bye. Have fun.
Thank you for being on our podcast. I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
4 going on 14. Bye.
But keep this on in case you need more light.
Okay, I'll keep it on in case I need more light.
Hey, thanks. That's it for this season, the very first season of the I Love You But podcast. Join us back in October when we have Spooky Halloween and then a whole slate of other stuff. We hope we've made you laugh. Maybe we made you cringe. I'm sure there's stuff we forgot. And you know what? We haven't planned out the whole future, so let us know what we should talk about in future episodes. We want to know your thoughts. You know, I'll still be checking all the social media, even though we won't be putting out episodes. So find us on Instagram and Threads at I Love You But Pod, or email us at iloveyoubutpod@gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes. And hey, if we get enough of them, maybe we'll make a bonus episode in between. Be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening. I'm Heather.
I'm Ryan, and we send you lots and lots and lots of conditional love.